Hey, what up? It's Brad. In this video, I want to talk to you about learning, specifically why most people go through their freaking lives not learning anything past maybe high school, most of the people probably middle school. We're going to talk about destroying your ego and why you should destroy your ego and why your ego is preventing you from living the life that you want to live, and actually how thinking less of yourself in a big picture importance kind of way can actually help you to achieve better results because it opens your mind up. And we're going to go through why people don't like to learn, why people say they're, lifelong learners, like they say they're always learning, but the majority of people don't really learn much of anything at all. So we're kicking it here in Fayetteville, North Carolina at the Cape Fear Botanical Gardens. And this beautiful environment just honestly got me a little inspired, and I wanted to talk about something that I'm super passionate about, which is learning, and something that I see, frankly, a lot of my friends fucking up real bad, which is they stop learning. Like for some reason, they get like a tiny bit of success, and then they think that like they're done. They don't need to learn anymore. And that's not how it should go at all. That little bit of success should be like, okay, what did I learn that got me that little bit of success? And then how can I build on that and use that little bit of success to propel me into an upward spiral and then keep it going? Most people do not do that. So that's really what I was inspired to talk about today. Let's jump into it. All right, so the first major, super important point that I really wanted to make that I hear no one talking about is what I call willful suspension of disbelief. This is actually something that my 12th grade literature professor, shout out to you, Mrs. Altman. I need to double check that. But what Mrs. Altman taught me is that when you're reading something like great literature or a novel that has some aspects to it that are supernatural or whatever, you willfully suspend your disbelief of those things in order to increase your enjoyment of the novel. Now, before I get into how that applies to learning, I want you to do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button right below this video so you get subscribed to this channel. Also hit the bell next to it so that you get notified when I'm dropping videos like this. In case you haven't noticed, I'm really doing my damnedest to tell you the highest level, most true things I could possibly scrounge up out of everything. I mean, literally, I'm reading 2 to 3 books a week. I'm going through a ton of knowledge. I watch a ton of videos because I drive a lot, so I get to go through a lot of stuff, and then I also get to apply it. So you get to see what filters through that is true and what gets filtered out. I'll cover that as well. But willful suspension of disbelief, okay? What we're talking about is putting aside your doubts. Oh, what if this guy isn't being 100% honest? Oh, what about this? What about that? It's like putting aside that stuff. Just focus on what you can take and use from what someone's trying to teach you. Okay, so for example, there's a group of dating coaches that I love to follow. The company is called Real Social Dynamics. The main guy, his real name is Owen Cook, but his YouTube name is RSD Tyler. You can look him up. He's a great teacher. A lot of my friends are into the types of teachings that he puts out, and we talk about it. And the biggest issue that I see with why people do not apply what he and his other teachers are teaching is because they're like, well, it's just a marketing scheme. They're just doing it to sell more products. And frankly, I don't disagree with that. They are absolutely trying to sell their products. I've been to their in-person seminars. They are a sales machine. But that said, that doesn't make what they're teaching less valuable. What they're actually doing is they're getting people to invest in their products as a way for people to get leverage on themselves. That's the important point. So a really great teacher will be able to do that to convince you to invest in yourself and get that financial leverage on yourself. So just because someone is charging a higher dollar value for a product or service or whatever does not mean they're trying to rip you off. It means that they're trying to get you to get leverage on yourself so you actually value what they have to say. People do not value what they do not pay for. Huge principle. But once you actually get in and you're in that ecosystem and you're hearing what that teacher has to say, to a certain extent, a lot of what they say is probably going to break with what you already hold true in your paradigms of the world, okay? So what you have to do to really get a lot out of the teachers that you're being influenced by is suspend that part of your brain, suspend it. Tell it, give it a timeout, tell it to go away and sit down and just stay away for a little bit while you take in and really absorb what the teacher has to say and figure out for yourself, regardless of what you've always been told or what you've been taught or what you've been socially conditioned into, and that's a big part of the social conditioning. Regardless of that, figure out whether what they're saying rings true. Something that's fundamentally true, you will recognize in an instant. You don't have to be, it doesn't have to be explained to you, over hours and hours of time. Life is principle based, and people who are in alignment with that are apparent to you almost instantaneously. Your brain works a lot faster than you might think, and it recognizes something that lines up with how it understands the world works, and it also recognizes things that do not line up. That's why people cite, when a woman is about to be abducted or something, she could feel it, because what she doesn't realize is her brain was picking up some signal that's abnormal that she could instantly knew, oh, something's off, I need to act quickly here. Your brain is very good at that, and it also works for determining things that are true. Now, the social conditioning part. You are taught implicitly from a very young age that the way that people around you behave is the way that you need to behave. Now, let me ask you another question. How many people in your life are achieving the type of financial results that you want? How many people are dating or married to the type of women that you would want in your life? How many people are just happy? How many people who are just walking around with a big smile on their face all the time? My guess would be maybe 1, maybe 2, but most likely 0. For most people, the answer is literally 0. So if you can find someone who has achieved those type of results, why would you not want to model that person? Why would you take what the people around you who are not doing what you want to do, why would you take their word over the word of somebody who's actually doing it? And if you don't believe that they're actually achieving the results they say they're achieving on social media, go see them in person. Isn't the possibility of being able to break out of the BS, like 9 to 5 rat race, like misery that most people live in, isn't that worth maybe a plane ticket, like $200 in a plane ticket, and maybe $100-200 on a hotel stay or an Airbnb to go and see if somebody is really legit and whether they're really producing the types of results they say they are? I think that's 100% worth it. You don't get very many opportunities like that. So willful suspension of disbelief, absolutely massive. Please consider that. It'll open you. That's what being open-minded really is about. It's about putting aside the skeptic part of your mind and being willing and being open. That's a big Buddhist philosophy, being, willingness and openness to life. It bears huge results. So the next level back from somebody who can hear what you're trying to tell them or what you would love for them to learn is the person who can't even see it, bottom line. And I like to think of these people, the way they always come across to me as is the people who say, that's a cute little theory. The oh, that's nice people. You and your cute little theories. Very cute. And these people, to be frank, I don't even spend a lot of time on them, but I wanted to kind of dive into why they are like that and why they react that way when you come up to them with something that's out of the ordinary that they could potentially do to get a result that they say they want to get. I can't even explain how often in a business networking setting I'll hear somebody tell me they have a problem and I'll propose a potential solution, and literally they won't even say, oh, I've tried that, it doesn't work. That I'm okay with, because that, at least they're open to trying new things. But what I get even more often than that is, nah, won't work. Like, not even as in a lot of these environments, I'm not just like a schmuck who just like rolled up. I'm like established, like people know I'm actually doing real shit, and still they can't imagine that a solution other than what they're already trying or what they've always done could possibly work. And these people, in my opinion, just by my estimation, one man's opinion, is that they don't actually want to change. They just like the idea of changing. That's like, there's a very famous saying, 100% of people say they want to change, and about 99% are actually just say they want to change. Maybe 1% are actually interested in changing or transforming. And those numbers, I think, would be, backed up by any type of self-help teacher who does any type of serious work at all. So why do those people react like that? Well, what it really comes down to is they can't break their current paradigm. They have arranged their reality so that the things in their life are crossed, and they're all crisscrossing like a big pile of sticks, and they're all interdependent. Every belief is stacked kind of in an interdependent way on all the other beliefs, and if you were to pull one of those beliefs out, all the rest of them would just come crumbling down. Their world would just come crashing down. So they can't afford psychologically and inside of their own body to give up any of their beliefs, because that would cause the rest of their belief system to just come crashing down, and life wouldn't make sense to them anymore. So what that leads to is they just can't accept any change at all. They're going to be stuck in the same loop, and that's what it really is it's a loop. They're caught in a loop, and in order to break out of that loop, they would have to, one, admit that they're in a loop, which is extremely painful, because the opportunity cost of wasting time is real, even though people waste time every day. If you bring it to someone's attention that they're wasting time, that is a painful realization for a lot of people, and they can't just let it go. And there's also a fear associated with that. Everyone kind of understands that they have a limited amount of time on this earth, so they're afraid that they're going to waste it. So what I propose is that a better way to structure your belief systems is to set it up as individual pillars, so to speak, so that if you have to remove one, that's fine. The rest of your beliefs can bear the weight until you reinstall that pillar of whatever belief you're changing at the moment. You don't need to change them all at once, because then things come crashing down, but you can do them one at a time, and they're not interdependent with each other. Now, people who are good at doing this are able to systematically, and this is really what it's about, is they're able to systematically change their lives and improve in a way that's it's quantum. It mirrors the way that atoms work. They go through quantum energy levels that are finite and clearly defined, because they take care of their inner beliefs and the paradigm that they're at, one step at a time. But they actually do it. These are the type of people who say they're going to do something and have big plans, but they actually get around to it. Okay, so that type of learning is kind of it's meta, it's big picture, it's your belief system, and it's being able to look at other belief systems that maybe you're not accustomed to and not immediately dismiss them and just say, no, that's bullshit. It's about being able to pick out the nuances and be open to new ideas. That openness, and that even kind of ties into the willful suspension of disbelief point, but that openness is super valuable, and it's also super rare. So if you can cultivate that, huge hack. Ego protection. Ego protection is by far the number one reason people stop learning in their lives. They're afraid that they're going to look dumb. They're afraid that they're going to look like an idiot in front of their friends. They're afraid that they're not going to look cool, like they're going to lose status, and blah, 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 blah. It's all bullshit that's covering up the fact that they are scared. They're feeling fear in their body, and they're afraid to admit it, okay? They're afraid of fear of judgment. They're afraid of fear of being outcast from the group. That's a huge one. Your brain is basically programmed to keep you in the group, and you're afraid that you're going to lose it because of the way your brain is programmed as a caveman brain, essentially. As a tribal creature, you're made to not want to get outcast by the group, and so that's a very strong impulse for people. But what you got to realize is, look, it's 2019, man. You can do everything by yourself. You could be a hermit, essentially, not talk to anyone, and still survive and still live not a prosperous life. Relationships are important, but you get what I'm trying to say. You're not going to be tossed out of the group. In fact, if you dive into what is truly authentic to you and you go after what you just want to go after because it's just you and you just like that, people will love you for it even more than if you hide in the herd. I see so many of my friends hiding in the herd, and frankly, it makes me sad. Like, it makes it It makes me so sad to see people with huge potential not achieving that potential just because they want to fit in. Like, dude, fuck fitting in. Like, that shit is useless. But the bottom line here is you have to get yourself to a point to where you have so much leverage on yourself that the ego can't do anything about it. That no matter how strong, because that's the bigger thing, is people who are really successful, that ego voice of, oh, you're not gonna look cool, it doesn't go away. It stays. And all those people have learned to do is they've tricked themselves into saying, okay, I see that voice, you go away, I've got work to do. They just ignore it. They overcome it. And they don't even stuff it down. They don't act like it's not there. And I think acting like it's not there is very unhealthy. Don't do that. But they learn to live with it. They learn what it really is, and then they overcome it, okay? That's what you need to do. The thing that really made this black and white to me was actually Army Ranger School. So, and this is appropriate, I was with a lot of friends who I went to military college with, and then a couple guys that I was in Ranger School with this weekend at a wedding. And it brought back a lot of memories as far as what it felt like to really be broken down, so to speak, and be put in a situation where the only thing that you're concerned with when you're in Ranger School is getting out of Ranger School. And the way you do that is by accomplishing whatever mission you have at hand. So you do not give a shit whether it's raining, whether you're dirty, whether you look cool. You don't care about any of that. The only thing you care about is get to the objective, accomplish the mission, get your go, get your buddies go, and get the fuck out of there so you can get back to your goddamn life. That's the only thing you care about. And if you can get to that point to where, and this is going to require self-brainwashing, that's a huge part of this. You have to convince yourself that you must achieve your goals, otherwise you're literally going to die. When I think about not achieving my goals, I get stressed. I get physically stressed about not achieving my goals. And for a lot of people, it's the opposite. They get stressed when they think about achieving their goals, which is actually blocking them from getting there. Take this right now. It's fucking raining out. Do I give a shit that it's raining out? I mean, a little bit, like my nice shirt is getting wet, but it doesn't matter. Like, I came here to make this video. I'm shooting the goddamn video. It doesn't matter that it's raining. I got a waterproof phone. That's what that's for. You have to be so crazy driven towards your goal that it can't be, this is from Tony Robbins. This is a huge hack. If you get nothing else from this video, take this. In order to achieve your goals, they can't be a want. They have to be a must. They have to be a must. It has to be, I'm going to achieve my goals or I'm going to keel over dead. Like, I will not stop until I achieve my goals. It's like rappers who say, I'm gonna die up in the booth. It's like, you gotta be willing to die doing whatever it is that you're doing. I don't mean that literally. You don't have to literally sacrifice your life, I don't think. But you have to be willing to go to the end of the fucking earth to accomplish your goal. And if you're not ready to do that, I 100% guarantee you that you will not achieve your goal. 100%. On that note, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you are getting any value at all, please do me the favor of sharing this video with a friend so that they can get the same value out of it. I hope this is really getting you some understanding of what's going on up here, how I'm going through. I'm going to be sharing the successes that I'm having in my life. And really the whole point of this, of documenting all of this, is I feel obligated to do it because it's not hard and anyone can do it. So for anyone who needs the knowledge, I feel obligated to put the knowledge out so that you have it available to you. So share it with somebody who needs to hear this, okay? Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.